Good evening. This is CTV News for Tuesday, February the 2nd. I'm Sonia Shrivastava.
And I'm Denise Douglas. Thank you for joining us. Well, the search continues for the person who shot and killed a mother and her daughter in Fort Washington early this morning. The victims were a 26-year-old school teacher and a 2-year-old girl. Byron Scott has our story.
This is absolutely unacceptable in any civilized community.
It was a vicious double homicide. A mother gunned down as she stood outside her car. Police say the killer then opened the door of the vehicle and fired shots at her 2-year-old baby who was fastened in the car seat.
We are absolutely grief-stricken. I am enraged that another baby lost a life here in our community.
Killed were 26-year-old Nashante Davis, a second-grade teacher at Bradbury Heights Elementary School in Capitol Heights, and her daughter, 2-year-old Chloe Davis Green. It happened at around 7 o'clock this morning. Investigators say they were called to the 1300 block of Palmer Road in Fort Washington for a report of shots fired. Davis was pronounced dead at the scene. The baby was rushed to a hospital, but later died.
Just sad and shocked.
This man who asked us not to identify him is a relative.
Beautiful, beautiful mom. Would do anything for anybody. Wonderful daughter, beautiful daughter. Definitely gonna miss them.
Police released few details about the killings, but did say they are pursuing viable leads.
The notion that someone would be bold enough to take the life of a child, take the life of a young woman, and think that there would not be consequences, simply unacceptable in Prince George's County.
Again, this crime happened at around 7 o'clock this morning. It was light outside, people were out and about, and traffic was moving by, so police are asking anyone who may have seen anything to give them a call. In Fort Washington, Byron Scott, CTV News.
Thank you for that, Byron. And he tells us that you can call the Anonymous Crime Solvers hotline at 1-866-411-TIPS if you have any information.
Meantime, more than 100 legislators say they will support a bill that would give a week off of paid leave to employees. This, according to the Working Matters Coalition. The Healthy Working Families Act would allow employees to earn 1 hour of paid time off for every 30 hours worked, up to 7 full days a year.
I've been employed as a security officer in Baltimore City for 10 years. After a long fight to organize a union, we get 1 paid sick day a year, but we get sick more than once a year. I had to ignore my body advance warning that a heart attack was in my future.
We took on this fight because we know it's the right thing to do.
Now, the legislation does include part-time workers. Officials say the issue mainly affects low-income employees. Well, an advocacy group is proposing legislation that would provide health care to children who are wounded at birth. The Maryland Maternity Access Coalition and other organizations gathered to voice their support for House Bill 377, called No Fault Birth Injury Fund. The measure would require hospitals to cover the costs associated with injuries suffered during delivery.
This was formed a few years ago as a result of the litigation and concerned medical institutions about the access to maternity care. So the Birth Injury Fund is going to give the families and the children that are born with birth injuries the support they need, but it's going to expedite it a little bit and just going to make the process a little bit easier all around.
Maryland's nurse midwives are supporting this bill because most of us, better than 95% of the births by midwives in the state, occur in hospital. So this bill affects us in the exact same way it affects the physicians who are caught between the cost of care, the cost of liability insurance, and very rarely the tragedy of a birth injury.
And Delegate Dan Morheim, also a doctor, is the lead sponsor of that bill.
Meanwhile, on the national political front, the much-anticipated Iowa caucus took place last night. It ended with Senator Ted Cruz winning on the Republican side with 28% of the vote. Billionaire Donald Trump followed with 24%, and Senator Marco Rubio with 23%. Democrat Hillary Clinton claimed victory over Bernie Sanders, even though initial results had them tied. Since then, however, the Democratic Party declared her a winner. Meanwhile, former Governor Martin O'Malley ended his run for the White House after getting less than 1% of the vote. In a statement, he thanked supporters and promised to continue to fight for equal opportunity for all.
I think we all saw that coming.
Yes, You are watching CTV News. I'm Denise Douglas.
And I'm Sonia Shrivastava.